Project Castaway has the potential to be a great survival game. Yes, there are a lot of bugs and issues due to it being an early access title, but what if there is a bigger problem in the game? No, not the missing pirates. Something else is going unnoticed. So let's check out the game and talk about that problem. Project Castaway puts you in the feet of someone searching the Pacific Ocean for their lost uncle. After listening to a recording of your uncle, your plane crashes. Big surprise, right? It's always a plane crash. And I was also thrown off by Seamus's British accent.
Is your uncle Seamus? I don't have much time, so I'll keep this brief.
Look, I'm not saying the Irish have exclusivity to that name, just wasn't expecting it. Anyways, you swim to your starter island after the crash, you go through a basic tutorial, and then you're on your own. Sometimes a tutorial can walk you through things you don't really need to do early in the game. Is that better or worse? Personally, I think it's better. I enjoy being on my own more. But I am an older gamer, used to the days when the only help you had was the manual that came with the game. Yep, and you had to physically go buy it too. And there was no yellow paint back then. There is a journal with all the stuff you can craft, but not building, which is odd. And that was one of my big problems early on. I didn't realize that the hammer had the building craftables on it. Maybe it's just me, but I expected that in the journal since every other thing you can craft in Project Castaway is in the book. So I played about 20 hours before realizing that. The same goes for another feature, which I'll get to in a moment. The vitals in this game are hunger, which also include the vitamin and protein meters. That's an interesting spin. I thought it was fruits and veggies and meat for the longest time. But those meters don't really go down too much, so I guess you could call them whatever your heart desires. Just eat some berries every once in a while and you're good to go. There is thirst, which is 3 liters by the way. There is energy and sanity. Both can be recharged by sleeping. The time and your body temperature is on the screen as well. The vitals are easily managed too. There are tons of food on the islands. Coconuts have water and food in them. Combined with the turtle shell, it can provide enough water to sustain you. But you should make a water catcher nonetheless. The 2 vitals that do need a lot of management are energy and sanity. You will need to sleep every night. I'm not sure what happens when the sanity meter goes to 0 though. Let's find out. You can get hypothermia, poisoned by both food or water and the local Komodo dragons, so be careful. Thankfully, those conditions all have easy solutions, but nonetheless, I continue my Survivor game tradition by dying to dirty water early on. Oh no, I got the poopies. Whoopsie. Oh, and you can drown too. Unlike straight at deep, you don't get that extra few seconds when the breath meter hits 0. You are dead at 0. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? The other feature I did not know about until like 15 hours in was the wheel you access by hitting the Alt button. I really needed to do something and was stuck without knowing how to access it. Chat looked it up live on the stream and we figured it out. You can watch these videos live, by the way, here on YouTube and Twitch. Same username, camcrusha in both places. And the crazy part is that there is no keybind in the options, so I couldn't find it there. But there is an arachnophobia setting, which is weird. I guess a lot of people are afraid of spiders. I mean, they did jump scare me a few times, so I turned it on. The journal also contains information about all the plants and the foods you discover, what the vitals mean, and the storyline quest, as well as the bonus treasures you discover. It also lists your skills and what levels they are. Like other survival games, Project Castaway's craftables have level unlocks. Gameplay is pretty standard, survival-ish stuff. Go punch a lot of trees, make yourself a shelter, make some kind of water catcher, make a fire. I also learned quickly that rain puts out fires. Are you going to put a cover on the fire? Rain's going to put it out? Oh my god. Look at that bird right there. And it rains a lot in this game. That is a cool touch. Annoying at first, but it is survival, right? Speaking of annoying, tools and weapons deteriorate really fast. Thankfully, the game also has a disassembly bench with a 100% return rate on the items, so make sure you build that. And the only exception is this tool. For some reason, the disassembly bench only gives back 1 small stick, so obviously that's a bug, of course, and at least the items needed are pretty easy to get. Project Castaway also displays the item's durability percentage on screen to let you know when it's time to disassemble. One caveat here is I am not sure if the disassembly bench will stay at 100% return. Seems a bit overpowered, but hopefully I'm wrong about that. Weapons are spears, knives, bows, and crossbows. One nice quality of life is that the arrows work with both bows. You don't need to craft new ones once you upgrade. And I cannot stress enough to upgrade to a crossbow as soon as you can. Far and away the best weapon in this game. One other really cool feature is the ability to craft an indestructible and more powerful version using animal parts. Lots of people recommend the jaguar knife, but I thought the seagull axe was the go-to thing to craft, especially early on. But those items require blueprints that are hidden all over the 6 islands currently in the game at the time of this recording. You will also need to find the 8 plane blueprints as well if you want to finish the game. More about all that in a little bit. Getting to those islands requires a raft, of course. You don't want to swim. 2 bites from a shark and it's Raft City. And sharks are not the only menace. There's the Komodo dragons, which I mentioned earlier, but the most dangerous animals are the leopards. They are just as silent and deadly as your grandmother's flatulence. The best part about the raft is the ability to place stuff like the water catcher, fires, your bed on them. Unfortunately, as you can see in these clips, I was struggling to build an actual raft. Yes, I think we did it, chat. Yes, that was a problem. It was upside down. Bro, isn't that weird? No matter where it was, additional base pieces would not attach to it. So I was stuck with a tiny raft. Hey, size doesn't matter, right? Thankfully, all the islands are pretty close to each other, so I built an outpost on each of them. Probably overkill, but it also taught me to get a camp up quickly. And it was nice knowing that no matter what, there was a place to sleep and fresh water, especially since you have to scour the island to find things for the story and the quests. You thought tree punching was tedious? This game takes it to a new level. Completing quests require you to find messages in bottles, tiny cassettes, and sticky notes all over the islands. They are in more obscure spots, but there are on-screen indicators. In addition to the escape quest, there is one that fixes the radar tower, allowing you to use GPS and location markers. But you still have to schlep all over the map through all the corners and nooks and crannies on the islands to find the things you need. Sometimes you gotta climb up cliffs and mountains to find stuff. And this is pretty much par for the course, from the parts needed to fix the airplane, to the bonus treasure items, to the blueprints. It's like that scene in Spaceballs.
Are we being too literal?
The treasure items are in really obscure places, but at least those are bonuses. They should be hard to find, right? But not the plane parts. Most of them can be found by salvaging all the fans and microwaves, etc. on the island, but again, sometimes you only need one more coil and it's sitting in the middle of the woods, hard to find. And look how many things you need. That's just kinda crazy. I mean, it's fine if you love to grab everything you can off every island and figure out where to put it later, but does every player enjoy doing that? I don't know. It's like somebody once said, I don't want everything in the world. Where the heck would I put it? I think some might say, hey, Project Castaway is in early access. They can fix those problems over time. And that's true. I mean, it's basically a beta. I agree when it comes to all the bugs and the issues like the raft problem I was having, and dialing back the amount of items needed to fix the plane, that's a bit excessive. But the story requires you to search like it's a missing person investigation in the forest. And that is within the survival premise where you don't have to scour to find food and water. There is literally a turtle on every island, for example. There's your water. And enough coconuts and birds to eat forever. The survival part is pretty easy. It's buggy, but it's easy. A hard to complete storyline by itself is fine too. Some games should be harder to finish. But the biggest problem is that in survival mode, I don't have to check behind a bush next to a rock to find any resource. But in the story, finding quest items or even finding survival blueprints is mind-numbing. And the game is marketed as a survival game too. That's the other part of its biggest problem. I was expecting more survival, less story. The hardest thing to survive, though, is the monotony of finding a zillion things. And getting out of early access will not fix that problem, no matter how many pirates they add to the game. Arrgh! Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm camcrusha, and I'll see you next time. Here's another video to watch. Hurry up and click before you miss it.